So this is my first presentation without code in any slides. So bear with me. If you don't like it, just browse Twitter for the next 20 minutes. I'm going to tell you how to convince your boss to build a progressive web app. First, a little personal story. So this is me, my bike yesterday, flat tires. Can't go to work. So I had to bike shop because I'm lazy. I don't want to repair my tires myself. So I go to the bike shop. It's fancy bike shop in Amsterdam, of course. And the bicycle repair guy says to me, "Hey, I heard you like speed. You need a CLP." So why do I need a CLP? Well, the fast guys use it too. So what would you do? Right. Go for it, right? So I went for it, and so you will never guess what happens when the next day when I come to pick up my bike. He changed this into that. Anyone recognize this? This is a CLP, a clipless pedal.
Oh yeah.
So, well, then he told me I had to also buy these. These are the shoes that they have these clips you can see here, and they go in that pedal, and then you're well, more or less permanently attached to your bike, like this. And that means that you can actually go faster because you can use more muscles. Because in regular biking, you can only use like the big red muscle and your gluteus and the purple muscles. But once you attach your feet to the pedal, you can not only push, you can also pull. So you can use all these muscles. That means you go way faster. So off I go on my bike, trying to clip in. Right, so first foot is attached, and then comes the tricky part because you have also need to attach the other foot. So well, I finally managed to do that. It's quicker. I mean, you're really in the groove, and bigger speed. So that worked. But then something came up. So can anyone help me? What's the thing you should never ever forget when you're more or less permanently attached to your bike?
Click out.
When you come near a red traffic light, because otherwise you try to, but then you're still attached, so you tip over and fall. If you Google for clipless pedals fails, you get 500,000 results. So another challenge is going downstairs, because these shoes they don't have grip. So you try to go down, and then you slip because you like the what's the English word? The heel. It doesn't have any resistance, any grip, so you tumble down. So hey, this is a story that sounds ridiculous, but it's also like how we try to sell technology sometimes. Hey, we should build a PWA because it's faster. And look at the fast guys from Flipkart.com. They have this blazingly fast guys and site, and it works for them, so we should too. This is a narrative you hear, right? Instead, what we should be talking about is a specific business benefits you can reach with new technology, and also give options. For example, with the shoes, there is a type of clipless pedals that has shoes that actually have grip to go down. You should also talk about consequences, of course, because, well, falling down at a red traffic light, that's not so nice. You should talk about the costs, right? Because it was relevant to my wallet that the extra pair of shoes was 100 euros. Risks, clearly something my bicycle repair guy was not telling me about, falling downstairs and stuff. But he could have told me about the mitigations, there's a little setting on the pedal that allows you to clip out easier. Yeah, trade-offs. So usually when you engineer something, you can do something to get a certain quality up, say, but usually that has an effect, a consequence. Another quality goes down. An example from your computer is you can add more RAM, so your computer becomes quicker. So you gain more speed, but you lose money because you have to have extra random access memory. Not a real world example. So go back to 27. Single page app just came along. Angular was 27, 2010, I think. Angular just came along. Single page apps were the hype. You could build an app-like experience on a website for the first time. Let's say I'm as a client. It's an e-commerce website. Would I advise him at that time to build a single page app?
No.
Why? Because I gain.
It's not sociable.
I would gain developer speed. The site would get better. It would be a much nicer experience to be on this e-commerce site. But there's
if anyone searched for anything, you wouldn't show up.
Exactly. Because in 2010 the search engines didn't index JavaScript. So they didn't do JavaScript. They do now, but they didn't in 2010. So if this client would have invested in a single page app, then they would have come. Well, they would kill you. Yeah. So it's all about trade-offs. When you're trying to sell a new piece of technology, you gain something, but most of the time you lose something. So you need to be aware. And this brings me to why do we use new technology? Why? As a developer, why do you use technology? It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. As a developer, it's certainly fun. We're curious to new approaches. We want to learn.
Jasper forces me.
Jasper forces you to. It allows you to do work quicker.
More quicker. Okay.
More quicker.
Yeah, okay. You do more and you do what you do quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how would the client think about new technology? Why do clients want to use new technology?
More money.
More money, yes. So it allows them to do more work in less time.
I do think that selecting tech helps. Basically, sexy tech helps attract new developers.
Sure, hire, yes. Yeah.
Does the client even care about what tech you use?
Sure they do. Yeah. Sure they do. But they want it because of the benefits, right? So there's you use new technology because you can automate work that previously was done manual, or you can do something that wasn't done before. A classical example, moon landing. Couldn't go to the moon before. Space shuttle was developed. You could go to the moon. So new things you can achieve with technology. 5 years ago, no service workers, no offline use, right? So new technology, new things you can achieve. So if you want to tell a client, you shouldn't. I think like selling a PWA is the worst thing you can do because it's an acronym and it's just like the CLP I tried to sell you or the bicycle repair man tried to sell me. It's an acronym. It doesn't mean anything. You were like CLP. Okay, am I the only one who doesn't understand what he's saying? So you need to be specific. You need to give an example of things you can achieve, a business need you can fulfill. And also, you should have no hidden agenda because sometimes you have a situation where you think, for example, about rebuilding your entire front-end stack because your feedback cycle is slow and you don't like the technology, and then you may take something as progressive web apps as a way to achieve that means. But you should be transparent. If your developer cycle is slow and your feedback cycle is slow and there's bugs everywhere, you should go to your clients and be open about that and transparent. Because well, if you hide stuff from them, it will come back to get you in the end. Yeah, focus on business needs. Great question to ask. What if it was your money? So you have this client, this business, he provides something in the market that people want, and they pay you to automate stuff, to make stuff better. Would you, if it was your money, still do the same? Would you still invest in new technology, or wouldn't you? Would you rather use boring technology? So clients, they think also about risk. So I want to implement this new thing. How much time is it going to cost me? Am I able to back out if it turns out to be not that cool, or it has some drawback that we didn't foresee? So that's stuff you should talk about if you advise them to invest in new technology. This is also great. If you try to, if you have an existing code base, which we come across more often, I mean, unless you work at the forward, of course, but you can do all the new cool tricks all the time. But in my clients, most of the times there's an existing software stack, and you have to migrate something. And then what really is really important is so that you don't have to tell it to your stakeholders, well, you're stopping for the next 6 months because we have to. I don't know, migrate the evil monolith to microservices. But so we can't really build new features for the next 6 months, but it will get better in the end, trust me. This happens. So be clever and try to think of a way to put your results into production in increments. Clients are afraid of lock-in. Are we able to get out? I mean, name one big application framework in JavaScript that's not around anymore. Nobody wants to use it anymore. Name one.
Angular 1.
Angular 1. That's one. So if I have a huge Angular 1 code base now, thousands and thousands of pages of functionality, my clients, my customers, so the customers of my clients, do depend on every day. Can I still define developers who like working in it? No. Backbone, another example. You don't see it anymore. Still huge applications that are out there. So you should engineer to get out, to be able to get out. Also, talking about this with the client, it might be a risk that they are willing to take, right? But it should be their choice. Are you first? With technology, businesses rather are not. They don't want to be first because they want to. It's risky. They don't oversee how it's going to pan out. They might not have the experience in their own company to judge the risks. So maybe they rather use boring technology. So you have to be clever. Maybe you can achieve the same results with boring technology. Hiring, big factor. One of the most important things why clients care about this. Angular 1 developer who wants to start on Angular 1 job tomorrow. I have one. No hands. One hand. Angular 1.
You try the Angular 4.
Yeah, so if the project will last longer than 2 years, and it has to be maintained in the future, then clients, they do care about hiring. And it can go in the reverse also, right? You have also companies, they want to pick sexy new technology to attract top talent, and they don't care to rewrite their entire stack every 2 years because that's easier if you're ahead of the pack and also have the money to pay for top talent, because not all clients can. Great historical example is Paul Graham. He started this. This is the founder of Y Combinator, the guys from Hacker News. He started a product to build web stores. He did this all in Lisp. So you needed a PhD to work at this company. And this was a huge advantage because the rest of the world was still using Perl. So they could iterate faster, quicker. And they had only the top talent because if you like Lisp, you wanted to work at this company. It was also the only company working with Lisp. So it's technology does matter to clients if your product lasts longer than 2 years. Stability is also a thing that matters to clients. let's say you got on the web components train a year ago, developed an application full blown in Polymer 1. Tried a few months ago, started trying to upgrade to Polymer 2. Hey, that's a lot of work. Breaking changes. So again, the client might be willing to take a risk, but also they might not. Yeah, so this was a rather long lead up to how to sell PWA. So back to this table. How can we use this table to sell PWA? There's a benefit you have to sell to the client. It has to if you fulfill a business need, you need to provide options. Maybe building a progressive web app isn't the best thing to do, but list the options. Say, well, there's A, there's B, there's C. By the way, B is the best option, but you didn't get it from me. As a consultant, you only have influence, no decision-making power. So you provide 3 options, advise them, and they pick the best option. You need to tell what the consequences are, what the costs are, and the risks you expect to your best knowledge at that moment. And for every risk, list what the mitigations are you can do to take them. I think progressive web app, it's good because there's, like, we are only talking about progressive web apps because there's this big marketing push from Google, right? At every Google conference, Googlers never go to conferences, I think. They only have Google conferences where Googlers speak about how great they are. Most of the time it's true.
Yeah, or side events after.
Yeah. So every Google conference there's a talk about PWAs. But it's just features from the modern web. So best way to sell progressive web app, feature by feature. It's shareable. It's on the web. It's not a stupid app you have to install through an app store, which is great if your client doesn't make money from selling apps. It has push notifications. You don't get it on websites. There are no spinners. You can make an app-like experience. It's offline first. But all those features, sell them one by one to your client. It's the easiest way. I can make any website a progressive web app tomorrow. Manifest service workers done. Or not.
Yeah. Stay put. Wait for the next couple of talks.
But please do not use it as an argument to rebuild your entire front-end stack, because people will be asking in a few months, when is it done? And is this a progressive web app or isn't it? I can't tell the difference. The speed narrative. It's used a lot. I think there's the PWA stats.com. It's listing all the companies that increased conversion and had more customers, and because they did a PWA and had bigger speed. But you can have a fast website without PWA features. So it's a really dangerous narrative because it's also very easy to build a progressive web app and then don't care for performance and have a very slow offline first website. So the speed narrative, I'd stay far from it. Yes. So benefits, options, consequences, costs, risks, and mitigations. What would you do if it was your money? That's about it, I think. Yeah. Too much time? Too little time?
No, it's good. I think we can clap.
Yeah, you can clap. Yeah, it's okay.
Do you have time for some questions?
Sure. Shoot.
Anyone?
Why was there no code in your slides?
I have one.
Yeah.
So most of your slides were about, or let's say that most of the comparisons that you made were with stuff like Polymer 1 or Angular 1, etc. But those are all frameworks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think for most of us, it's obvious that a framework is always something that you should not necessarily steer clear from, but that's always a red flag when frameworks come into play.
Yeah.
Whereas a service worker, which is the technology part of the progressive web app, is native. Is not a framework per se. You can use libs or frameworky thingies to make it easier for you, but it's also very writable as native code. Most of the default stuff that you can do, like offline first, is there, at least in one browser.
Mhm.
So I was so 9 out of 10 times I would say to when a client would say, yeah, but what are the risks and how do I avoid locking? I would just say
It's the web itself.
there's as much risk as using JavaScript on your website.
Yeah.
So am I right, or do you say no? It's not that easy.
Well, you already listed the most important risk, I think. It's almost all Chrome centered. Chrome currently drives innovation, so that's a huge risk. What can you do to mitigate it?
You have access to standards, right? So
And you hope they all implement it.
Yeah, but it's a progressive web app, so if
So far, users will just have a
it's not
bad
available as
experience.
a fallback. It's still usable as a normal website. It's not,
But your client should be aware.
there's no risk.
Yeah, okay,
Well-
that's true. So okay, you should tell it to your client. Oh yeah, by the way, it only works in one browser on only one type of device.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It works great on my Android.
Yeah.
And the client has to invest money in order to build it, so
Yeah. So
they should be aware of that it's only one
Yeah.
browser. That's where they put money. Maybe you can see that as a risk.
yeah, but, I mean the choice is theirs to make, right? So that should be the general theme. And migrating away from service workers is not a thing. So yeah, that's no risk.
Yeah. No, not yet.
Migrating away from app cache.
Well,
Yeah, a great example. Yeah.
What's you're currently in the process for this at your current project, right?
Yeah.
What's the smallest part? Where do you restart, like smallest step?
Feature by feature. So we're currently thinking about push notifications because it's an e-commerce website and that's a great way to get return traffic.
And then you already have the manifest and the icons are already in, or
No, we're just there's a client. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that.
Okay.
Well,
you can,
So, but,
hold your hand.
yeah. So no, at the current client, I haven't no progressive features yet.
Okay. Because
But this entire process is really actual for us now because they're really they're having doubts. What will this bring us? It's an investment.
It's already HPS. It's all projects here HPS, or is it something you still have to suffer through? Yeah, for us a year ago that was. I mean, we had to convince. Progress pipe up, and but you need HPS. So
Yeah, that's not a hard case to make. I think.
Okay.
To get the HTML.
And by the way, I hope that your e-commerce website is over.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so that's not a hard case to make. That's the easiest sell ever.
And you're actually the developer also writing. Will you be making the service work yourself?
I do hope so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other here?
So how do you click out of the click list?
It comes with a twist. So you,
Good question.
good question. So you, so there's a little thing you have to clip this behind, and then you press, and then it's tightened. But if you want to clip out, you just have to move your foot this way. And you're free.
Just transform rotate. Go.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't recommend them for regular city use. More.
Yeah, this is your sporty bike, not your normal
No.
with the big crate.
No, I wouldn't advise it because of all the traffic lights. Yeah.
But normally at the traffic light there's also this pole with the button. You can also.
Perhaps, yeah, that's definitely already.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first one to miss the pole.
But the nasty thing is the clipping out is something you forget when you have to brake suddenly because you go in survivor mode and then stop. Good. At least one part of my story is stuck.
You have this book, Pitch Anything, and it teaches you different framing techniques, and one of them is the intrigue frame, where you basically start with a story, you don't finish it, and you use this aroused level of adrenaline to tell a different story, and then all the way at the end, people still want to know what your first story was about. So, but at least it works, so I'm going to use it as well. Wietse, I want to thank you very much for your talk. We have a little something for you. And there you go.
Yes.
Thank you.